Hi guys, welcome to my movie fan channel. My name is Tyler. Today's review is going to be for The Boys Season 2, the Amazon original superhero show based on the comic book property. I really enjoyed the first season of The Boys, and it leaves on such a cliffhanger. You want to see what's going to happen. And what happens in Season 2 was everything that I hoped for and more. This show is crazy. You never know what's really going to happen. Things happen that you're like, I would have never thought that's something you could do on TV or that would happen in a superhero show and any kind of show. I can't believe I'm watching what I'm watching right now. The characters are so great that the story is so well written. It's the combination of the two colliding together with like an action superhero show that you're like, oh my god, this is crazy. The first season of the show really sets up that these heroes are more concerned with their public appearance, ratings basically. They're being marketed through a company. In the second season, there's still a lot of that, but they're kind of taking over the reins and doing what they want to do and not caring what people think about them. They still have the machine behind them, but it's more of their own control because they realize that they have all the power and they think they have all the leverage. There's characters like Giancarlo Esposito's character who says otherwise, but we see that Homelander, Maeve, all these characters are so powerful they can really do whatever they want. They just feel confined by the company and public perception and stuff that doesn't really matter when these people are so super powerful. They can do whatever they want. They can't die. They're like impervious to bullets and weapons. So it makes a great dynamic. And then when you also have into play the cliffhanger that season one ended on with Billy Butcher's wife and her son, which is Homelander's son as well. That's a crazy dynamic because he just wanted to kill Homelander the first whole season for years. And now his wife has a soup who he hates as a child, and he's got to deal with that. And he also has to deal with that kid's dad is Homelander, and Homelander's got to not kill that guy, maybe, because it's his son's mother's husband. So that's a crazy dynamic going on. And then you got awesome characters like The Deep and A-Train, which I love, that are just silent ancillary characters. And then I love what they did with Maeve this season. She had like a love interest that they really expanded on. They gave her more of a role. She's like the Wonder Woman type character. And Black Noir gets all the fight scenes. It's probably easiest to put a stunt guy in that suit. If there's not a stunt guy always in that suit, to do the action fight scenes with him. He's like a ninja. He kind of reminds me of the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. He kicks ass. All of the 7 characters kick ass. But a lot of the other characters this season, Billy Butcher got like some more fight scenes a little bit. I mean, he always gets his ass kicked. I thought this season went in an interesting direction. Stormfront is a really great addition to what she brings to Homelander's character, and she's an extra like dynamic. He always has a sort of person he hands the reins over to. He might be all powerful, but he's not always in control, and he likes to kind of give that control up. And his weakness is like that control is usually given to a woman who can manipulate him. So that's his vice, where A-Train's is addiction to drugs, and The Deep struggles with his body dysmorphia and his self-esteem issues. Maeve is afraid of Homelander and kind of has like Stockholm syndrome. She's hiding who she really is, and she's got to deal with the publicity touting her as one thing when she's really something else. Starlight is just in the middle of all of this. She's playing both sides and trying not to get caught or put in the middle, and then eventually she picks the side of Huey, Billy Butcher, and Mother's Milk, which I can't believe that there's a guy named Mother's Milk in the show, but there is. So that's really interesting this season where they went with that. It's still super violent, which I love. The show is crazy. People die in crazy ways. I like the addition of the actor that plays Iceman in the X-Men movies. He was great as Lamplighter. It was interesting that they had him like retired in the first season and had written all that in there. And they kind of left the door open for whether they planned or not for season 2 to bring him in. They left the door open for there's basically like a Justice League member out there. And you're like, oh shit. And they actually bring him in, and it's funny that he shoots fire and has like the pyro superpower abilities when he was Iceman in X-Men. So I thought that was ironic. Like the guy who played Carmine Falcone in Gotham. He was kind of the former CEO of the company that runs all the superheroes, and he's a great actor. They had a bunch of additions to the show that were really good and really elevated season 2 to be something a lot different than I would have expected. I would have thought that Homelander would have done more asshole-ish things and exposed himself more to the public, and that kind of happened. They're starting to turn on him. Things are leaking out, but when they had that scene where he just kills the whole crowd, like in his head, he's thinking about, I could just laser all these people. And he doesn't do it. It's in his head. But when it happens, you believe it because you're like, yeah, I could see that that's where they would want to go. I like that they're taking their time with that, and it's a slow burn, and they're building up to it. There's a lot they could do with this show. There's a lot of people from the Seven that could flip sides, and that could help them take on Homelander, because right now it's just like the deck is stacked against. It's Billy the Butcher who has no powers. It's Mother's Milk for how jacked and how badass he is. He's still a dude named Mother's Milk with no superpowers. You get the little Asian girl, which is psychotic and running around all crazy, but it's really just them and Starlight. They need some help. So, I mean, Maeve could flip-flop, A-Train could flip-flop, the Deep could flip-flop. Any of these people could jump sides and help take on Homelander. It'll just be a Homelander versus, like, everybody else. I think everybody else will turn on him. All the heroes. Maybe one or two linger around, like, still on his side, but it looks like they're setting up any one of them could flip, and they're really teasing that. And you're like, which ones? Maybe none of them do. Maybe they just die off into, like, crazy ways, and they start killing the Seven heroes, but I feel like he's gonna really die. In season 1 they set up that there would be like outside threats in other countries. That's still open too. They could still make something happen because Compound V is now everywhere and becoming more popular and more of a thing, and a lot of different countries have it, and they're trying to make it a thing and just give it out to people and the military and whatnot. So that could still be an open threat out there. They could have another like Superman type character with those powers and abilities that rivals Homelander sprout up somewhere else. But I feel like they're really going to stick with these core characters, which I really love because these characters are done so well, they're portrayed so well by the actors, and they're written with a purpose, and they kind of know where they're going. I feel like if they don't, they're hiding it really well, and they're just coming up with, season by season as they go along. But I feel like they had an idea in mind, and I like where they're going with the story and with these characters. And if they focus on these new characters, bring in a couple little characters like they did in season 2 along the way each season, that would be great. But I could see this going for 3-4 more seasons if they wanted to. There's enough story there, and there's enough dynamics going on between these characters, which are so rich with their motivations and what they're really going for. So I enjoy this show a lot. Season 2 was great of The Boys. I can't wait till season 3. I'm sure it'll be a while with the pandemic. I don't know what the shooting will be like. I feel like it's not shot yet, and they'll have to do that and postpone shooting and stuff until it can resume after the pandemic is cleared up, which I keep saying that. Who knows when that'll be, but that's season 2 of The Boys, guys. Season 1, the review is up on my channel. I will link that up here for you guys, and I will also put a link up in the description of this video for that, and I will see you guys in the next video.